homie.
The 2022 Arnold Strongman Classic has come to a close, and we have your overall standings and podium finishers. Let's have a look. Starting off, we have in last place JF Carone, and that is because he had to withdraw after 3 events due to the terrible injuries that he suffered during the log press. I've heard that JF has completed his surgery and is in good spirits on his way to recovery. I consider JF a friend. He's always given me great interviews on my channel. I consider him a really great guy and a kind man, and send you my prayers, JF. I know you'll be back to normal very soon. 9th place goes to Evgeny Markov. So Evgeny comes away with 21 points. That was broken out into 2 points for the squat for Max, 7 points on the dumbbell press, 1.5 points on the log press for Max, 4 points on the timber carry for Evgeny, and 6.5 points on stone to shoulder. So he comes in 9th place, way off from my prediction, but I'll have something to say about that when we discuss how I feel like this business of giving points to 0 performances affected things, which he didn't have any zeros. Trey Mitchell comes away tied for 7th place, so Trey with 21.5 points, and you'll see Tom Stoltman also tied with him for 7th place, 21.5 points. So let's have a look. Trey with 3 points in the squat for Max, Tom Stoltman 4.5 points. When we go to the dumbbell press, we had 2.5 points for each of them. Going to the log for Max, we had 9 points for Trey Mitchell, who really excelled in the log, and 4.5 for Tom Stoltman. Then the timber carry, we had 2 points for Trey, who did not do well there, and 7 points for Tom, who did relatively well on the timber carry. And stone to shoulder, 5 points for Trey Mitchell. I thought he deserved more, as mentioned in my previous videos. I don't like this rule of the stone's on your shoulder, but if you don't put your arm out, it doesn't count. Like, he lifted it, right? So anyway, 3 points for Tom Stoltman on stone to shoulder, and that's how they tied for 7th place overall at the 2022 Arnold Strongman Classic. For those of you always tuning in to see my detailed analysis and my spreadsheets and love what you're watching and want access to them yourselves, I do offer that now as part of my YouTube channel membership level 2. So you can go over to my YouTube channel, click the join button as you see here, and then I have 3 different levels. So level 1 gets you all kinds of customized badges, and then you get custom emojis to use on live streams. You get member shoutouts every month. That's members only community posts, a whole bunch of different behind the scenes stuff and all, just in level 1. At an extremely reasonable price. Level 2 gets you access to all my Strongman analytics spreadsheets, everything I ever create or ever will create. I add links to that in the membership community for that, and then you can be a live guest on my show as well. Just wanted to let you know that memberships are available at extremely reasonable prices, and you can help support the channel that way as well. Now on to today's content. Moving our way up, 6th place goes to Maxime Boudreau. So Maxime got 4.5 points on the squat for Max. He got 5 points on the dumbbell press. He got 4.5 points on the log press for Max. He won the timber carry in spectacular fashion, 10 points on the timber carry for Maxime Boudreau. And then the stone to shoulder, he unfortunately zeroes that and gets the 3 points because of that rule of the way that Arnold's does their point system. So 6th place overall for Maxime Boudreau. 5th place goes to Rob Kearney, who actually led this show after 3 events. So he had 9 points on the squat for Max. He had 9 points on the dumbbell press, and then he had 4.5 points on the log press for Max. Was still, as you see here, I'll show you with my mouse right here, he was still in 1st place after 3 events. And then we had the timber carry where Rob didn't do so well, 3 points there. And then we had the stone to shoulder, which he zeroed for 3 points there. Ends up in 5th place overall. Unfortunately, after a spectacular start, Rob Kearney off the podium. But 5th place, still a good finish. 3rd place goes to Bobby Thompson, who does way better than my analytics had given him credit for. So great job to Bobby. This will get fed into my Block Strongest algorithm and definitely inform the predictions for next time. So Bobby comes away with 30.5 points, 7 points on the squat for Max. He had 2.5 points on the dumbbell press, 8 points on log press for Max, 5 points on the timber carry, and 8 points on the stone to shoulder for Bobby Thompson to put him into 3rd place overall, and you don't see a 4th, and that's because there's a tie. So 3rd place tied with Luke Stoltman. So Luke Stoltman started off not so great. He ends up with 30.5 points overall. 1 point on the squat for Max. Dumbbell press, 7 points there, so starting to make a comeback. He was in 8th place overall after that event. Then he comes away with 10 points on the log press for Max, the event where we all expected him to win if his quad was in good shape, and it seemed to be. So he's now up to 4th place overall, Timber Carry comes away with 6 points, still in 4th place overall, and then 6.5 points on Stone to Shoulder, which puts Luke Stoltman into a tie for 3rd place. So I didn't hear anywhere on the telecast how they're breaking the tie. The Arnold's and even the Rogue Invitational didn't seem to show a podium ceremony, so I don't know if they even have one. But yeah, it's weird. So I would say, like, probably if you had to choose, Bobby Thompson did better on Stone to Shoulder, so you would choose him as a 3rd place finisher on the podium. But again, I didn't see an actual podium, so I guess it goes in history as a tie. 2nd place goes to Alexei Novikov, who comes away with 37.5 points, maybe inspired by the terrible things that are going on back in Ukraine. But actually, you know what? I have to say this. I went to go see a Vitaly Klitschko fight at Madison Square Garden once, and I was at the train station, and there were a lot of fans with Ukrainian flags and shaking them, and they were chanting, and they pronounced it Ukraina. So I'm going to pronounce things like people from that country say is the right way to pronounce it. So I won't say Ukraine, I'll say Ukraina. So back in Ukraina, we know the terrible atrocities that are going on, and Alexei may be motivated by that to do well here, or at least to enjoy himself for a couple of days while he could and put on a great performance. 6 points on the squat for Max, 10 points on the dumbbell press, winning that event, which we all expected, putting on a show there. Then 4.5 points on the log press for Max, 8 points on the timber carry, and Stone to Shoulder, another spectacular finish, 9 points there, coming in second only to Martins Litzis. And that being said, your overall winner, the 2022 Arnold Strongman Classic Champion, is Martins Litzis. So Martins comes away with 41 points. He had 8 points in the squat for Max, which is 3rd place. He had 7 points in the dumbbell press, which is 4th place. He had 7 points in the log press for Max. He had 9 points on the timber carry, coming in second only to Maxime Boudreau, and then finishing strong, not having to win the Stone to Shoulder, but did win the Stone to Shoulder with 10 points. That is how Martins Litzis put together his 2022 Arnold Strongman Classic win, and he is now a World's Strongest Man and an Arnold Classic winner. Martins Litzis, for sure, is now one of the greatest strongmen of all time. And that being said, I think so is Alexei Novikov after the string of wins and podium finishes he's put together. So an incredible battle back and forth between them. I don't know if I wasn't paying attention to the math or what, but Luke Stoltman snuck up onto that 3rd place finish as well. So great job to Luke Stoltman, and just an all-around fantastic show to watch in every event. I like the fact that there's more Max events than sometimes World's Strongest Man or some other shows have. I think that's more strongman purist, at least in my opinion, so I really enjoyed it. And we'll see you again next time when I talk about the Rogue Record Breakers. Of course, until then, ciao, homie.